Grand Rising gods and goddesses, we are on our 19th saga of Intimate with TomBoi. Today we're going to talk about how trauma can affect your current relationships or it can affect your future relationships if you do not heal from trauma. With that being said, I got to shout out a couple ladies that deal with helping people heal from trauma or they help with love. So I want to give a shout out to Jasmine Webster. All right. Very good friend of mine. If you're in the Milwaukee area, definitely go talk with her if you need counseling. All right. Of course, if you are in the Los Angeles area, I got to shout out the beautiful queen, Jess. All right. The love coach. All right. Talk to her about trauma and healing from that. So you need to go to people to help you heal from trauma so that you are able to move on and you are able to be a great partner in your new relationship. All right, let's get into this.
Why, baby, come back? Baby, come back. Why, baby, come back? Baby, come back. Calling me, loving me, sexing me. When you're loving me, your walk, your talk, your smile, your eyes. Why did you leave me, baby? Please move. I'm so hurt, can't have a flirt. Please move. I'm anxious, can't resist. I get so hurt. Please move. I'm so hurt, can't have a flirt. Please move. I'm anxious, can't resist. I get so hurt.
Yes, God and goddesses, we are on this 19th saga of Intimate with TomBoi. I don't know if y'all really listen to the lyrics of that song, Cursed. It's off the Playboy project by me. To say that you can't find love, you can't have love, you can't receive love, so you gotta be cursed. That's some trauma right there. That is definitely some trauma right there, that you get to a stage of where you believe that you cannot have, receive, and possibly give love. So we're going to get into how this can affect your current relationships or your future relationships and why counseling and healing is important. So let's get into this 19th saga of Intimate with TomBoi. I know we talk about trauma a lot, but trauma affects us so much on a daily basis. It affects how we work, it affects how we live, it affects how we approach so many things in life. And trauma comes from so many sources. It starts first, of course, generational, something that's passed down. Trauma through your parents can pass down through you. That's generational things, basically through genetics. Other sources of trauma is basically even, just how you were raised. That's a factor of trauma. And then as you get older, relationships that you get in that cause you trauma. So let's get into this some more. So when you are trying to get into a relationship, because everyone wants to have a significant other. They want to have somebody that, they can love on, kiss on, hug on, etc. Go out, enjoy the world with, build with, have a family with, all of these things. But how does your past trauma or your current trauma affect you to have the ability of having those things if you are not healed from it? So let's just say that you are trying to heal from your trauma and you're going to therapy, you're going to people like Jess or Jasmine, like you're going to the love coach or you're going to Jasmine and you're trying to figure out how to heal. Now, when you go there, are you going to heal or are you going there to talk about who caused you trauma and how they are a bad person and how they've affected you? Because now that makes a huge difference on why you're going to therapy, because it's okay to talk about where you feel like your trauma has stemmed from and who caused your trauma and all of that. But we need you to heal as well. You know what I'm saying? Now, I understand there's certain things that are not your fault. You know, childhood things that could have happened to you, or even as an adult, if somebody, molested you or did anything, inappropriate to you, raped you, or whatever, like that's a trauma caused by somebody that is a monster, and most likely trauma was inflicted on them that way, and they inflicted that on you. You know what I'm saying? So that's a different type of trauma, because that is something where it's like that is very extremely hard to heal from. And you know we're going into other aspects, so I'm not so much touching up on that, but I'm touching up more so on the relationship thing. Like, why is it that you're having issues with relationships? And when you go to somebody like Jess the love coach, or you go to Jasmine and you're trying to talk about, well, I'm having issues in my relationships, what trauma is preventing you from having a healthy and a good relationship? And that's a good question to ask, because I get it. If you got trauma because you were abused, so you're not gonna get in a relationship where someone's gonna be abusive to you. Nor should you stand for that, because nobody should be putting their hands on you. You know. But there's different types of abuse. You have verbal abuse as well. You know what I'm saying? And maybe you can't deal with that. You know. And if somebody's verbally abusing you, why are they verbally abusing you? Have they grown up in a household where they seen their parents verbally abuse one another? Because you have to understand, trauma comes on different levels. So if you are in a relationship with a partner that they verbally abuse you, they might have been verbally abused as a child, or they might have seen verbal abuse go on in the household. So you have to understand their trauma as well as understanding your trauma. And we don't talk about those things. But it goes on, like, I could say one thing that I used to see as a child. We laughed at it. We laughed at it. I don't think it was something that we should have laughed at, but we used to watch my grandparents argue. And for us, it was a show. It was the funniest thing, and I'm telling you, they would curse each other out, you just talk reckless to one another. And then it was just like as if nothing happened. Like, they go their little separate ways. My grandfather had his own room, my grandma had her own room and stuff like that. But then they'll come back together. My grandma's cooking, she's still fixing this plate, and you know, like as if nothing happened. And I don't know if that was their way of just sometimes, hey, I went through trauma in my life, and so we just, this is what we do. I mean, they had over 60 years of marriage, so but for us, we used to laugh. We thought it was a show, but that was trauma. And with us seeing that, we probably thought that was normal. And it's okay if you argue with your spouse, but is it okay to cuss one another out like that? Now, could I say because I seen that as a child, that could affect how I deal with my relationships? Oh yeah, definitely. I could say that for my sister, definitely, because I don't see my sister. Man, my sister got a mouth on her. Y'all just don't know. Like, I pray for anybody that deals with my sister, especially my brother-in-law. You know what I'm saying? But you know what though? It comes from what we grew up seeing. We saw our grandparents doing this, and my sister's older than me. She's old enough to be a parent to me, and so imagine she saw it in the 70s and going into the 80s and so forth like that, so um for us, this like, this is what we seen. This is what our grandparents did. This is what Granny and Papa did. They argued, they cussed each other out, they forgave each other after they had cooled off a little bit, and it was like as if nothing happened. But you have to realize when you get in other relationships, they might not have grown up seeing that. So they might not be able to handle stuff like that. They might be extremely sensitive to things like that. You know what I'm saying? And so sometimes you have to be mindful of what you say, because you don't know if they can deal with that type of trauma. That might be enough for them to say, I'm out. You ain't gonna be sitting up here cussing me out and acting a goddamn fool and calling me all kind of shit and thing. I'm just gonna stand for it. That might be some shit that they can't deal with. And for you, you're like, is you serious? Like, it's minuscule. You're like, that's nothing. But for them, that might be enough to say, nah, I ain't with the shits. You get what I'm saying? And so different types of trauma affect how people react, what will make them leave and what will make them stay in the relationship. And of course, as I get older, I've learned to like control that, like I said, you learn when you go through relationships, you learn how you can really hurt people's feelings and cut them, especially yelling and cussing them out. And I had to learn that. But I will honestly say that it takes a lot for me to go to that level. So it got to be really heated for me to get there. But I try to, like I said, I try to avoid calling women bitches. I really do try to avoid that because, if I don't call you queen, love me amor, mi corazon and all that, I don't call you that all day and then all of a sudden we get into it. I'm like, bitch, like that's kind of like, damn, like, you just took it to the lowest level. Like this was your love and all that. Now you calling that bitch. And so, I try to be careful and mindful not to say that. But, sometimes even using other words can still hurt people because, like I said, you don't know what type of trauma they went through in previous relationships or whatever they seen in their household, which is why they might not be able to handle you saying things to them. Like I said, the tongue has life and death in it. And it's like a double-edged sword as well. It can cut going out and it can cut, going in. So sometimes we do have to be mindful of what we say. So now that takes me to like, now when you go in and you're seeing your therapist or you're seeing your counselor or, like somebody like the love coach Jess or you're seeing Jasmine, are you just focusing on what the person has done to you or are you taking accountability for your actions in the situation? Is it just them? Are they just overreacting? Or did you have something to do with them overreacting? Because a lot of times we'll blame the other person, but we don't want to say our part in that. Now, if somebody came and they cussed you out, right? This is a person that's been loving on you, whatever, all day or, throughout the week. So they just cussed you out for nothing. They just came and they just cussed you out, right? Had no reason. They just cussed you out. Did you do something? Because we don't like to take accountability for our own actions. You know what I'm saying? We don't. Or sometimes we hear shit the way we want to hear it and not how it's said. That's why they say it's your side, their side, and there's the truth. Because we'll start a whole disagreement or a whole problem based off of how we heard it or how we wanted to hear it or how we just wanted to be in the right when we could be in the wrong. And so with this being said, we have to pay attention to these things because you could be sitting there and you could be trying to say, oh, well, it's their fault because they did this. But what did you do? What did you do? Because a lot of times we never take accountability for our own actions. And I think a lot of times, because, we expect people to apologize for their actions. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like this, I'm not saying that people shouldn't apologize, especially if they're in the wrong. Yeah, you should. But I will also say this too. You know, don't be sorry. Be careful. Because I'm the type of person that's like, why are you constantly apologizing or something if you're gonna go do it again? You get what I'm saying? So you don't need to be sorry. You need to be careful. And that should make you think about how you say things to me, how you act towards me, and what you do. Because if you're being careful, you won't do anything that will lead up to a disagreement or anything like that. Because you're being careful. You're being careful of your word choices. You're being careful of your actions. You get what I'm saying? And so that's why I always say, don't be sorry, be careful. So let's get back to the subject of the matter. You know, I said, how does trauma affect your current relationship, or how can it affect your future relationship if you're not getting healed? So we talked about verbal abuse, we talked about, how that can affect. But what about insecurities? What about you always being insecure of the person that you are with? How does that affect your current, or can affect your future relationships? Now, I've always been a confident person. I feel like this. If I'm with you, if you're with me, apparently we got some type of attraction. Apparently, I did something right, something that you like, that we're together. So my confidence is there, that we're good. You know what I'm saying? But not everybody has that same confidence. Some people might feel that you are out of their league. And how is it that they have somebody like you? Somebody might be in a relationship with you, knowing everything that you told them up front about who you are, what you like, and all that, but they still went for that. And now they're like facing the fact of, okay, will you stay? Because I know these are the things that you like, but I don't necessarily like them. And so let's get into, when you get into a relationship with somebody, right? The first thing that should attract you to that person is like, usually it starts off with looks. We'll be honest, it's looks. You know what I'm saying? The looks. That's the first thing you see. That's the first thing that made you aware of that person, is the way they look. So that's the first thing that attracted you to even talking to them. Now, once you get past the look thing or whatever, right? Let's get to that intellect. Let's check out that mind. Let's see how we converse with one another. And see, that's an important key, because to be able to converse with your partner is a good thing. You should be able to talk about anything, philosophies and so forth. And so for me, intellect is important, because you could be fine as I don't know what, but you could be dumb as a bag of rocks. You know what I'm saying? And so that means nothing if you have no intellect. So that's the next thing. Then you talk about your values, what you have value in, your beliefs and all that. You get into all those things, right? And you talk about what you want in the future, children, so forth. Are you monogamous? Are you poly? You talk about all these things. Now, when all these things are being said, right? Both of you are hearing these things. Both of you are getting to know one another. Now, if somebody chooses to have you, but they know that you may be monogamous or whatever, that's the choice of them dealing with you. And it's the same vice versa if they know that you are poly and they are dealing with you. Now, this is where my thing comes. You should not have any insecurities if that person was upfront with you and they told you who you are. Why? Because this person told you who they were. They told you who they were. You get what I'm saying? So now, you're insecure if you're monogamous of being with somebody that's poly, because what? You feel like you're thinking from a monogamous mindset versus a poly mindset, right? And the same thing with somebody that's poly. They're thinking from a poly mindset versus a monogamous mindset, right? But for some reason now y'all together, right? One thing that I will say about this whole situation right here is you cannot force the person that you chose to change, because they have to change for themselves and not for you. And so I believe that's where we have this misconception, is that they're going to change for me. Look, never expect somebody to change for you, because they have to change for themselves. You get what I'm saying? They have to change for themselves. They have to say, this is what I want in my life. Not this is what she wants in her life, or this is what he wants in his life. No, they have to change for themselves. And you can't force them to do that, because you're going to force a lot of heartache. You're going to force a lot of disappointments, because you want somebody to change for you, and you want them to become who you want them to be versus who they are. And just because you feel like them changing onto what you want them to be doesn't mean it's what's best for them, because people are elevating on their own levels. People are getting to know who they are on their own levels. They're knowing what they like, what they need in their life, and all that on their own levels. So you can't force somebody to be something that they are not. You have to let them be who they are. Because if you try to force them to be something they're not, you're going to have issues. You're going to have trauma. You're going to have problems. You're going to have drama in your life. And so we have people like Just the Love Coach that's trying to tell you how to and counsel you on how to be with somebody. Same thing with Jasmine, coaching you on how to be with somebody. But they're also trying to tell you how to be with somebody according to your beliefs and your elevation. You know, that's what they're there for, to coach you. But you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to be honest with them. Because if you're really trying to heal, and if you really want something good in your life, you have to listen to these counselors on the advice that they're giving you. Take heed to it, because they're there to help you find love. They're there to help you deal with your trauma. And if you're taking your trauma from your past relationships into your new relationships, you're going to have problems. You're just going to have problems. You cannot keep comparing who you were with before to who you are with in your current situation, or even in your future situation. Because this is the thing. You'll find similarities. Oh, they bring me flowers. They talk sweet to me. Oh, their favorite color is yellow, the same as his or the same as hers. Now imagine that. You keep on talking that this is this, because you're seeing similarities. That does not mean that they are the same person. And if you keep doing that, you're only hurting yourself, because now you're still reflecting on somebody who was versus somebody who is. You get what I'm saying? This is a new person, and you are so stuck into comparing them to your last relationship. You're not letting them be them. You're not letting them flourish, and so that you guys can flourish. You have to understand you are in a new situation. And just because they do certain things that may be similar does not mean that they are them. Because everybody is affected by trauma some way. You know what I'm saying? Somebody can't help what their favorite color is. Somebody can't help if they don't know how to control their mouth. That's something that they have to learn on their own. You get what I'm saying? And that's trauma they have to deal with. But you cannot say that they are exactly how that ex was, because this is what you're seeing in them. Also, we're going to talk about confidence. Confidence is key. And confidence is key for me. Because this is the thing, right? We all got fucking eyes. I'm going to just say it. We all got fucking eyes. We all find other people attractive. Why we had crushes when we were little. People had posters on their wall of their crushes. Mine was Aaliyah and Janet Jackson was all on my wall. Those was my crushes as a child. You know what I'm saying? Now, And now as an adult, I'm a big fan of Coco Jones. Love me some Coco Jones, right? So, one thing I will say, like, if I notice a woman's attractive, or I notice a body part, oh, she got some big titties, or she got a fat ass, or this and this and this and this, right? And I'll say that freely in front of whoever I'm dealing with, because my thing is, like, that's just something I noticed. Does that mean I want to get with that person? No. And if the person you're dealing with say they don't have the big titties or the fat ass, right, and they feel some type of way about that, you know what I'm saying? Now, that's trauma and that's an insecurity that they're dealing with, and they expect that you should shut up. You shouldn't say anything because they don't have that thing. Now that's confidence, because you know what? I'm gonna tell you like this: if you were able to pull somebody and not have a fat ass and some big titties, that means they were attracted to you on another level that fat ass and them big titties couldn't attract them to. So you shouldn't be worried about fat ass and big titties because you attracted them another way. See, this is where confidence is key. That shouldn't bother you. Like, okay, that nigga see that or she see that. So what? I got them. They coming home to me. Or whatever. And it's the same thing with you. You notice when somebody's attractive and they go past you. You know what I'm saying? You know it. You know. So why the hell would I make a big deal out of because you seen somebody attractive? You know what I'm saying? Like, we see it, we both see it. It's there. Also, I'm in the entertainment thing. I have to, like, be able to notice certain things like this. If I want to do a music video, or if I'm going to do an acting role, right? I have to notice certain attributes. Okay, if I want a music video, the woman or the young lady that's going to be in my video, I have to notice what her attributes are, what they're going to do to attract, to make the video hot. I can't sit up here and be like, oh, well, I can't say anything because who I'm dealing with might be jealous because you got a fat ass and some big titties. No, I need you to have a fat ass and some big titties because we are about to film something that is supposed to be seen to the public, and it's about my career. It's not about the relationship I'm in. And so you have to be secure into knowing these are things that I have to notice also, because this isn't what I do in my career. This is what I do on a day-to-day basis. I have to notice attributes. I have to notice what's attractive about somebody. That does not mean I want to be with them or sleep with them. So this is why when you go to counseling, you have to really listen to your counselors, because they're telling you certain things. They're trying to build your confidence. They're also trying to help you to heal from your trauma. You get what I'm saying? Because you have to be able to deal with somebody else and know that they are a different entity. They're on their own journey, path, and all that. But the question is, how can you come together and have some type of unity? But you can't change the other person to fit, to make you feel secure, or to make you feel wanted. You have to feel wanted for yourself as well. You know what I'm saying? And you can't always think, oh, they have to always reassure you. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes somebody could be reassuring you, but it's not enough. And so when will it ever be enough reassurance for you? And so at this point, you know what I'm saying, you're causing your own heartache. You're causing your own problems. You're causing your own curses. And so, that's why I said in that song, you feel like you can't have love, you can't receive love, or you can't give love, because if somebody's not doing something according to exactly what you want, then you feel like you're cursed. And sometimes you might feel like you are so much of a playboy or a playgirl that you can't receive it. And so you feel us on those levels, because that's what I'm talking about mainly in that song. You know what I'm saying? I want y'all to go to your counselors, listen to them, deal with your trauma. Try not to bring your trauma into your new relationships. All right? You got to leave that trauma out and into your future relationships. All right? We need to heal, y'all. We need to heal. And I know we talk about healing a lot, but this is important. And this is Intimate with TomBoi. And so I talk about healing because that's what we need. We need a lot of healing. And if we want healthy relationships, we need healing. So, it was fun. Thank y'all for having me again. I want y'all to enjoy y'all Sunday. I want y'all to enjoy the rest of y'all week. All right. When is it? Moon in Sagittarius? Yes. All right. For those of you that are spiritual, big shout out to Miss Kiwi Berry. I know I love me some kiwi. And shout out to Mihamana Raw Honey. All right. So, basically, y'all enjoy your day. Y'all be good. Learn how to deal with your trauma, with your partners, and all that, and heal. And go to counseling to get healed. All right? Light, love, peace, abundance, and prosperity, gods and goddesses.
Why?